What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Blythe and I'm gardening in Zone 8A in Eastern Georgia. And today is a really exciting day because we are going to be planting a ton of seeds. So I am out here going through all my seeds to see what we're going to be planting today, and I pulled out everything. We've got melons and squash, zucchini, beans, all the things. So I'm gonna go through them really quickly with you guys, and then we are just gonna get to planting. Another thing that we're gonna be doing is planting all of our zinnias, which I'm going to have an entire row of zinnias in the garden this year, and I'm super excited. I love zinnias, and I'm planting them all. I've got like 7 or 8 varieties, I think, and I'm literally gonna be planting every single one. So I guess I'll go through those first for you guys so you can see the zinnias that I'm going to be planting, and I will try to pop pictures of everything up on the screen for you guys if it doesn't have one on the packet. So I have some from last year, I've got some from a few years ago, I've got some free seed, all different varieties, all different seed companies. So for zinnias this year, we are going to be planting giant double flowered lavender gem, giant flowered mixed colors, forecast mixed colors, zinnia envy, which I have some from Burpee, and then I also have a pack from Eden Brothers as well. So I'm going to be doing all of those. Zinnia Isabellina, which I'll pop that up on the screen, from Eden Brothers. I have Persian Carpet, which is from Baker Creek. It was a free seed that I was given. And this is a dwarf variety, so I'm going to try to find a special spot for these in the garden. It just says that they're 15-inch plants. We also have some zinnias from last year's Floret release. So we've got Precious Metals, Dawn Creek Blush, and Victorian Wedding. Those are all the zinnias that we're going to be planting, and we're just going to be planting them by variety, kind of keep things a little bit organized in the garden. But they're going to be across from the sunflowers, and I think that'll be so pretty to have like sunflowers on one side and a ton of zinnias on the other side. So some other flowers that we're going to be planting in our other cut flower row that I'm going to have in the garden is Lacy Lavender Blue, Didiscus, Bells of Ireland, and Quiz White Larkspur, which I'm not really sure how the larkspur is going to do because it says that it does well in mild summers or like cool summers. Our summers are not cool here. They're very hot, like 100 degrees hot. So we'll see how it does, but we'll never know unless we try. Now let's move on to watermelon. So this year I am going to be doing some trellised watermelon and some just on the ground watermelon. I'm kind of just going to pop them in to where they can kind of spill out of the garden. But the ones that I'm going to be doing on the trellis is going to be Royal Golden and Cajo, which is a personal size watermelon. And then in the ground I'm going to be doing this one, whatever the name of it is, Lilano Sweet Glow, Moon and Stars, which is one of my favorite watermelons, and that's it for watermelon actually. Next we're getting into melons that I'm going to be growing this year, which I love melons. Specifically, I love like honeydew type melons. So I'm going to be growing the golden honeymoon melon, which I've tried to grow before, but I have not really been very successful with it. So I'm going to try again. I just keep trying. Just keep trying. I think our soil is really good this year, so I'm hoping that things are going to do well. The next one that I'm going to be growing is Kajari melon, and I have 2 packs of those. This is my favorite melon. I will always grow it in my garden. It is so beautiful. It's so vibrant. It's so sweet. It's personal size. And it's a slip melon, which means that when it's ready, it just slips off the vine. So you don't have to do any kind of like, oh my gosh, is it ready? Am I gonna pick it too early? No, it just falls off the vine and you know that it's ready. So that's one of the many things that I love about it. So if you've never grown it, definitely get you some Kajari melon. A few other things that I'm going to try this year. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the two things that I've never grown before that I'm gonna try this year. One is the Chinese python snake bean, which they say that you can just grow it and eat it like a bean or a squash, so I'm gonna try it. And then the next thing that I'm gonna be growing is sesame, which I should have started these seeds. It says to start them 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost. I did not, so we're just gonna throw them in the ground and see what happens. If we get sesame, cool. For corn this year, I'm growing Dakota black popcorn. We don't eat a ton of corn, but we love popcorn. And popcorn in the past for me has been super easy. You literally just like let it go until it's dried out and then just pick it and then let it dry for a few more weeks and then it's ready to pop. Now let's get into squash, because I have a ton of squash that we're going to be growing this year. More like summer squash things that I'm going to be growing are Zephyr Yellow Summer Squash Hybrid. I'll pop the picture up on the screen. I just thought it was really cool looking and I'm sure it will taste great. Rugoso Friulana, I don't know how to say that exactly. It's just like a bumpy summer squash, which I grew last year and it was very good. I'm gonna be growing center cut squash. It is a vining, so it's gonna have to go on a trellis, but it's similar to tromboncino, but maybe a little bit smaller, nothing super huge. So the last one I'm gonna be growing is Gelber Englisher custard, which is kind of like a really squished up looking squash, summer squash, but I grew that last year and it did really well and it tasted really great. So now getting into our like winter squash varieties, I'm going to be growing Canada Crookneck. I love butternut squash type things. Love them, love. So most of these are kind of in that category. The next one that I'm going to be growing is Aote Green Flesh Squash, which I have 2 of those. I forgot that I already had one and ordered another one, which is fine with me. I'm fine with having a couple of them, which is basically just like a green butternut. And then I'm going to be growing Honey Nut, which is a tiny personal sized butternut. And then Candy Roaster, which was really good last year. I just roasted it. It was delicious. And then I'm also going to be growing a Honey Boat Delicata squash, which is one of my favorite squashes as well. So last but not least, I am also going to be planting some beans, and I have found that I am not a huge fan of bush beans. They take up a lot of space in my opinion, and then they only put out one flush of beans and then they're done. Sometimes they might get a few more. So I feel like that's not really like the best space saving / making the garden, you know, the most efficient. So yeah, so I don't think that's the most efficient way to grow beans. Also, I grew dragon tongue bush beans last year and I wasn't a huge fan. I'm not quite skilled in getting like the fuzzy texture out of those, so I wasn't really impressed that much. I wouldn't mind trying again, but this year, since I have so many arched trellises, I'm just gonna grow pole beans. So the first one that I'm gonna grow is Blaudehild, which is a staple in my garden. It is purple, the veins are purple, the leaves are super dark and pretty. It makes a statement on the trellises. The beans are purple and they cook to green, so you still, it's a green bean, but they are like pick and come again, and they will produce, as long as I'm picking them, they will produce all season long. I have found that these are incredibly productive in my garden. I have had them literally since the first garden I've ever had, and the other thing that I love about them is that they're not fuzzy, and they actually have really smooth pods, really slick pods, which to me is more is a little bit easier to cook to a good like texture. So the last bean that I'm going to be growing is turkey gizzard beans. So I actually got these from a client of mine, And these are a family heirloom in her family. So these beans directly have been passed down for generations in her family, and she gave me some seeds last year, and she gave me enough to where I didn't really have a place to put them. I kind of just stuck them in the garden somewhere because I hadn't planned for them, and I ended up getting just enough pods to harvest the seeds for this year. And so that's what we've done. I have not tried the turkey gizzard beans, but I saved the seeds from last year and we are going to be growing them this year, and they are a pole bean as well, so I'm super excited. I think these are a little bit more smooth of a texture, but I can't really remember, so we'll definitely be keeping up with that, and you guys can check back in later to see how they do. But they're really pretty, and she said that they just cook them like green beans. They don't like get them dried out or anything, or look at how pretty those are. I hope you guys can see. Oh no! You can see how pretty the bean is. It's like little speckled white. It's really cute. So yeah, that's what we're going to be planting in this video. And I didn't say that's what we're going to be planting today because I know it's going to take a really long time. So this video is going to be all about the things we plant. It might be a couple days worth of planting, but we just had like 2 full days of just like nonstop rain. The ground is perfect for tucking seeds in, and I'm ready to go. I feel good. 2 days of rain is not fun when you're a gardener in the middle of spring, but it is really good for resetting, getting excited again, getting house chores done, which really needed to be done. So yeah, but we're back out here and we're just gonna get all these little seeds tucked in. So I've got everything, labels made, everything's ready to go. We just have to get out here and do it, but I wanted to show you guys kind of the plan. So I planted sunflowers here. I don't know if you guys saw my short that I posted, but we've got lots of little babies popping up. Super exciting. I can't wait to see how they do. And so another thing that I did that you guys did not see because I was in a rush and I just kind of did it, I might have a little bit of footage. I planted dahlias here. So all the tubers are in the ground. I'll kind of put a list of everything that I have. Plus I have some experimental seedlings from last year that I saved the tubers of, that I can't remember what they looked like because I didn't mark any of them. But this year they are all very well marked and listed, so we'll be able to remember exactly what they are and what they look like. But I planted these a couple days ago and they are not quite up or anything yet. They had all pretty much sprouted, so that's good. I can't wait to see those. But as you can see, what I kind of did, I kind of came out into the walkways so that like coming out this way and then coming out this way, and then I'll have basically a 2-foot maybe-ish walkway here to walk through. And then just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the echinacea and the foxglove. It is doing amazing. So it's actually already put off a lot of growth on these foxgloves, and then all of the echinacea look amazing. With the rain that we had, they really enjoyed it. But the little seedlings look so good. And I know they're not gonna flower this year, but hopefully this existing stuff is gonna flower this year and it'll just be looking so cute. So I'm gonna have a small row on this side of flowers, and then I wanted to do peppers, corn, sesame, something like that. And then the zinnias in this row here. So right up against the other side of this trellis on the opposite side of the sunflowers. So we're gonna start working on the zinnia row and see how far we get, and then we'll decide what to do next. to show you guys this real quick. While I was here planting the zinnias, I noticed that this is where I had my tomatoes last year, and there are so many, let me see right here, there are so many little tomato seedlings popping up. There's one under there. There's one right here. So I'm definitely gonna pull them because I want, you know, the sunflowers here. But I'm just so happy to see volunteers still trying, even if I'm trying to choke them out with landscape fabric. To show you guys what I did really quickly. I didn't decide if I wanted 5 and 4 or 3 and 4, and I ended up going with the 5-4 pattern because I need more zinnias. But I wanted to kind of like explain to you guys how I did it. I just did it in blocks. So we've got Envy zinnia, we've got the Forecast mix, then we have Dawn Creek Blush, Giant Flowered mix, Isabellina, Precious Metals, Giant Double Lavender Gem, and then I had a few more spaces, so I did a little more of the Envy zinnia just to break it up, and then we've got Victorian Wedding zinnia in the last couple of rows, and then I ended up doing the Persian Carpet zinnia since it's a dwarf. I did it just like at the back of this row, just because why not? It'll be fun. It'll kind of be like the toddler's little flower section is what I was thinking, where she can just run and do that. But also to note, it's super windy out here, which is nice. Kind of breaks up the heat a little bit, even though it's not like super hot today. But trying to plant seeds with a toddler, don't recommend. He was stepping on all of my sunflowers, so I might have to come back and reseed a couple of those. I'm just gonna go ahead and put all of the seeds that I want on the trellises here, and then all these trellises, and then I'll go back and show you what we did. Break because my covers blew away. My frost covers. I finally took them off of my citrus and they decided to blow around the whole yard before I could get them in the garage. Also, update on the chickies. Got a duck escape. They're doing really well. Should hold them for now. So it's a little bit later. We're back outside. We went inside for a little while, but I got everything labeled of where I want it to go. So now all I need to do is burn the holes in the fabric, the appropriate spacing for whatever it is I'm growing, and then we'll get to planting. So everything on the trellises are planted, which feels really good, but as I was planting them, I realized I'm about to be extremely overwhelmed. When all of this stuff starts coming in around the same time, I'm gonna probably be giving away a lot of stuff. Or just be like preserving in the kitchen for days. Let's go check on the chickens. Oh, and a duck. Hi, chickens. Okay, you guys, it's been a couple days, and by a couple days I mean like 4 or 5 days since the beginning of this video. So we actually already have some seeds coming up. So I'm gonna insert some footage. I did end up planting eucalyptus and started a few other seeds for some flowers and sesame. I'll insert that here, but I wanted to show you guys what we have going on, and then we're gonna plant a few more seeds. That is a candy roaster squash seed. No dahlias up yet from what I can see. And then I was checking out here earlier at the zinnias that we planted, and we've got a couple of little guys. Let's see, so another one here. Hee. I'm so happy. I love seeing seeds sprout. Oh. Yay! So that is super exciting. The sunflowers are coming up nicely. And today I'm going to attempt to get basically the rest of my filler flowers planted. I started a few and they're not doing too great in the pots, but I'm gonna attempt to get them separated and go ahead and get them planted out here. So we'll see how they do, and if they don't transplant very well, I'll just go grab some more seeds and throw some seeds in there. So now that I'm looking, I really don't think I'm going to be planting any of these out. The feverfew, I've got like 3 tiny little specks in there. Got one fern leaf dill, no basil, no chamomile, maybe one coming up there, and then my baby's breath. Oh, it's so sad. I think I'm just gonna go see if I have any more seeds of this stuff and just plant seeds, because starting it did not do what I needed it to do. This is my rose status. Oh, it's pretty sad, but I do have some rose gold celosia here that looks okay enough to transplant, and then a stalk, 3 different kinds of stalk. So I found more baby's breath seeds, more Secret Rose status seeds, and I also found flamingo feather celosia that I'm going to use to kind of replace the feverfew, because I do not have any more of those seeds, unfortunately. So I'm just going to go without them this year. If I can kind of get those 3 little tiny sprouts to sprout, then we'll try to keep it in the garden. But we're just going to go ahead and get to planting. excited. So I just want to go over everything to kind of show you where everything is, and then we're gonna get everything watered in. So starting next to the dahlias, I saved 40 spaces for my lisianthus because that's how many lisianthus I have. And then I planted my stock. You can see the little babies. I am gonna come out here and sprinkle some slug bait because I know these slugs are gonna be looking at these like a snack. So got that. And then I told myself if I have any space left, I'm gonna try larkspur. And so I had larkspur, yeah. Quiz white larkspur. So I had 5 spaces left. So we're just gonna try it. It doesn't look like it's gonna be super easy. I did cold stratify the seed in the refrigerator, but it says it does really well in cool summers, and then it also only germinates around like 55 degrees, which we have been having cooler nights, so maybe it'll germinate, but we'll see. I'm not really that worried about it. If it works, cool, that'd be great, but you know, if I don't try it, then I'll never have larkspur. But I could possibly have larkspur if I just go ahead and plant it. So that's what I did. Here I went a little bit a little bit crazy. I was trying to plant my Dakota black popcorn really close together because I wanted a lot of it, and then I decided it was way too close, so I kind of ended up spreading out the seeds like every other hole for the black popcorn. So we're just gonna have like some random holes, which is fine, not a big deal, back here. But I just kind of wanted to like put a little block of corn somewhere, and so this is where it landed. Here I've got the flamingo feather celosia, and then I've got some rose gold celosia at the end that hopefully they'll do well. Little babies. I had these extra, but I have more over here as well. And then we've got baby's breath, Didiscus, and Status here next to the bells of Ireland that you saw earlier. And then I also planted some watermelon like on the very edge so that it can kind of just spill out that way. So basically all the seeds are planted. I can't think of anything that I missed. I might be, you know, going back and like replacing seeds, or like, you know, seeing what germinated and what didn't, and like figuring out if we need to do some different things in there. But yeah, other than that, the only thing that we have left to plant is peppers, eggplants, and ground cherries. So, but our nights have been like super cold recently, like getting into like low 40s. So I'm really trying not to plant those out right now. I'm leaving them in the greenhouse overnight. It's nice and warm in there, keeping them happy. So it's about to be blooming and booming here, and I could not be more excited. So let's get this stuff watered in, and that's going to be it for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope we see you in the next one. I can't wait to show you guys how this garden is about to be transformed in a couple of months. Thanks for watching.